In this video, we are going to talk about whether or not you should sell your home if you're facing a divorce. What's up, everybody? It's Cassandra Lopez with the Bremerton Broker channel. If you're new to the channel, you're going to want to go ahead and subscribe. This channel is all about selling a home or buying a home during a divorce, probate, or real estate investment practices. So tap that little bell so you're notified every time I drop a new video, and you can reach out to me directly. This is my cell phone and my email. Feel free to reach out if there's anything I can do to support you if you are getting a divorce, in a probate situation, or just looking for some real estate investment opportunities. All right, let's talk about the taboo topic of divorce, and if you own a real estate asset and you're getting divorced, what you should do with that asset based on your circumstances. It should be said right away that nothing here is to be considered legal advice, so it's really important that you speak with an attorney in your state so they can talk you through the best practices and common court expectations based on the laws of your state. If you are going through a divorce, it's really important that you get a neutral third party to help you out with all of your real estate asset needs. There is no reason to go it alone. This is a highly charged emotional situation in most cases. And from somebody who's been there, done that, I have firsthand experience. So let's get you a real estate professional to talk to. Okay, so should you keep your marital asset or should you sell your marital asset? That decision is going to come down to, given your options, the best decision for your situation. Reasons why you might consider keeping your home would be if you have children and you want to keep them in the same school district. If the home is ideally located to school, work, family, any combination of the above. If your home has little to no equity, or maybe the current market conditions are not favorable for selling or buying either. If you're thinking of or hoping to keep your marital asset after the divorce, it's likely you will have to consult with a mortgage professional as well. And the reason being is because the spouse who decides to keep the house will likely have to cash out the other spouse who is not keeping the house. And this is super common in community property states. So Washington State is a community property state. Wherever you are located, maybe yours is as well. So you're going to want to consult an attorney to see what that looks like for you. And in a community property state, each spouse is entitled to half the equity in the home unless agreed upon otherwise. And so now the spouse that is leaving the home can take that equity as cash and use it for potentially a down payment for a new purchase. Reasons why you may consider selling your house after the divorce. You each want a fresh start and just get away from all the emotional situations that house holds for you. Neither of you can afford the payments, or you're unable or unwilling to refinance, or maybe it's just too emotionally painful overall and you just want to get away. Sometimes the spouse who does want to stay and keep the marital asset just can't financially qualify for a refinance. Maybe their current job and income won't support that, or maybe now they have too much debt that they took on because of the divorce. So whatever reason, they can't qualify. And at this point, then you would be looking at selling because neither of you would be able to keep the marital asset if that was the case. What happens if one spouse wants to sell and the other one doesn't? Or one party is making it incredibly difficult for the other party to sell the house? It's really important that both of you come together and come to an agreement while you both still have control of the situation and you have control of your home. If you two can't decide what to do with your home, what's ultimately going to happen is that you're going to put it in the hands of a judge for the judge to decide what should happen with your home. And as your largest financial investment, probably, because everyone's home is up there with their largest financial investment, you don't want to give control away of that. You want to make sure that you guys actually mutually agree on what to do instead of having a court decide for you. If a judge does end up deciding for you what to do with your marital asset, it's unlikely that either of you were going to get what you want because the court is going to do what's in the best interest of the estate. And once the judge orders it, now it's a court order that must be complied with, whether you like it or not. What happens if it's a really volatile situation and the two spouses just cannot be in the same room together to have a discussion about the house? In these cases, I bring in my business partner and we co-broker the entire transaction together. So I will consult with one party, my partner will consult with the other party, and then afterwards, he and I will come together and compare notes. Keep in mind that while we owe you the duty of confidentiality and we cannot share information outside the transaction, Information that you share with me or with my partner can't be kept confidential between us. So if my party that I'm consulting with tells me something that they don't want their spouse to know in relation to the house, like a material defect or something like that, I can't keep that confidential. That has to be shared because all parties need to be aware of what's going on, because you guys are both the decision makers and you guys have to have all information in order to make the best decision for yourselves. What if you and your spouse own multiple properties together and you're getting divorced and need to liquidate all of them? Essentially, the selling process is the same for any property that you own, but you may want to run this by your attorney. And this is what I did when I was getting divorced back in 2007. My ex-husband and I owned several properties as rentals. And so what we ended up doing was we actually packaged them together and made them part of the settlement agreement. So instead of being required to sell, he got half the rentals, I got half the rentals, and that's how we worked it out. And then after the divorce, then we could solely decide what we wanted to do with them after that. But the marital asset, which was the family home, the primary residence, that home was sold. As long as you guys can agree on these terms, anything you want can go into your settlement agreement, because the judge doesn't want to work that hard, right? Like, he doesn't want to break up arguments. He doesn't want to play he said, she said. He just wants to see the draft in front of him saying, we agree on these terms, and everybody sign and date and stamp and record and have a nice day. So if you guys agree on all of that stuff, you can write up your settlement agreement any way you want. There is, of course, the topic of prenuptial agreements, or maybe postnuptial agreements, because those do exist as well. We're not going to get into those in these videos, or probably on this channel at all. So if you and your spouse do have one of those documents that outlines what's going to happen with whose assets at what time, whenever the marriage is dissolved, then that's definitely something that needs to be brought into consideration. And your attorney needs to be fully aware that this document exists, because that's going to play a huge factor in how these assets are divided. When would a deferred sale make sense? So a deferred sale is when the marriage is dissolving, you agree to sell the house, but at some future point in time. It should be agreed upon who is going to be living in the house and who is going to be responsible for payments, taxes, insurance, maintenance, landscaping, all of that stuff. A deferred sale might make sense if you want to wait to the end of the school year, or if the current market conditions aren't favorable to sell, or you could maximize your return maybe in a year when rates come down or something like that. As long as you both agree on what that looks like, then it can be written in your settlement agreement how you're going to manage that in the future. So that was a pretty broad overview of what to do with your marital asset. Should you sell? Should you keep it during a divorce? Highly recommend for the third time that you speak with your attorney. It's super, super important that you have that consultation on the legal side of things, and then have your real estate professional help you with the logistics of the real estate asset portion of your portfolio. If you like that video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, tap that little bell so you're notified every time I drop a new one. You can reach out to me directly. This is my cell phone and my email, and I look forward to supporting you. See you on the channel.